Do you ever feel like you just cannot shut off your brain? You're listening to your kid, you're thinking about dinner, you're remembering a text, you're wondering if you should order that thing online, meanwhile mentally comparing yourself to that other mom, all at the same time. I do not think that motherhood has always felt like this, and that's not to say that old-fashioned moms had it easier, but I do think they had fewer things competing for their attention. Just like me and you, surely they had hard days and messy houses and kids who were fighting. But unlike you and I with our smartphones, they had a landline, which means they had a lot fewer voices telling them what they should do, when they should do it, how they should do it, who they should be. And that is what I am missing. So my kids and I were talking about landlines. We live in a community with a lot of original homeowners of these 1950s homes. And so, of course, many of them still have a landline. And as I talk to my kids about this, it just stuck with me. And I've been thinking so much about how drastically having a landline instead of a smartphone would change my days as a mom. So I just wanted to talk about that. What we've lost kind of as modern moms and how that comparison and constant input and distraction has really changed the way that we experience motherhood. And I definitely am going to share what I'm doing to reclaim a little bit more presence and peace and enjoyment in my own home. And I just want to say, if you have ever been feeling overwhelmed or scattered or like your brain just never really turns off, take my free homemaking vibe quiz. It will help you really uncover what naturally drains you and what actually can help you feel more like yourself again and more replenished. Because let's be honest, these days it's kind of hard to know what that even looks like, what it looks like to feel replenished, what really truly is us, because we are trying to live our lives while processing thousands of other people's lives too. And I will be honest, I don't think I'm actually missing a landline. I think I'm just missing the boundaries on my phone that a landline naturally created. Humans were never designed to process this much input. Old boundaries happened very naturally. Calls stayed at home, right? There was a set location. You couldn't take that phone with you. So that was the only time people could reach you was if you were at home. Stores stay closed, right? There were actual store hours as opposed to just continuous online shopping. Information was limited. You probably got a newspaper or heard about something from your neighbor. Comparison stayed really local. Like you would know what's happening in the people around you. And people just could not access you all the time. Whereas now, everyone can reach us at any given moment. Information never ends, right? There's constant other information we could consume. Comparison never ends. Shopping never ends. Notifications never end. The never end is like the part that's been so heavy on my mind. Like it just never ends. It never stops. And so the problem has nothing to do with oh, well, we're just weaker now and whatever people think is their phone problem. The problem is just that there is no off switch anymore. So it is honestly a pretty harsh reality for the average modern mom. At least it was for me, right? Constantly mentally multitasking, listening while thinking about 5 other things, never fully present, just feeling super scattered, and this intense pressure to do what everybody else is doing, to know what everyone else is doing. I would check my phone without even thinking, just kind of wanting to see some type of notification, and just that feeling of your brain never really turning off. And that comes with the territory anyway as a mom, but I just think it's 100 times what we actually have the capacity to deal with. So the way I could describe it is I really felt like my attention belonged to everything and everyone other than me. I was just pulled in so many different directions. So I've come a long way in boundaries around my phone use. I have plenty of other videos. I'll link a few. But that whole landline conversation with my kids took it to a whole new level, or just like helped me see it in a whole new light. Just realizing how strange and honestly dangerous smartphones actually are. Convenient, right? But dangerous. Phones are not bad, but unlimited access is exhausting. And so boundaries, to me, are the solution. They're going to protect our attention, our peace, our enjoyment, our presence, our sanity, our contentment. Like, I could list 100 things. The problem is not having technology. The problem is just that technology now decides when we get interrupted. It's bombarding us with new ideas when we might just want to stay with what's working, right? Boundaries are just deciding what I really need to take care of me, deciding what gets access to me, what I'm going to expose my mind to. It's just a very conscious decision. So we hear about this comparison, right? Here we have this old-fashioned mom with her landline. Here we have us with our smartphone. We're hearing, the differences, the pros and cons. And if you're anything like me, it's like, well, now what? Like, yeah, okay, I like that idea, but now what? I am quite confident that I will never get a landline. I'm also quite confident I'll never get a flip phone, right? Like, seriously, I do not think that phones are bad. I enjoy the conveniences. For me, it's just more a matter of getting curious about how to really use my phone as the tool that it is, instead of kind of letting it take over everything, because that's what I can start feeling. So I'm going to try, and I want you to join me in some landline boundaries for our smartphone. So first thing for me is location. I am intrigued by the idea of having a set place where the phone stays plugged in always. That would be wild for me. That would take it to a whole new level. I do have parking spots is kind of how I see it for my phone. Like, oh, okay, it's on my nightstand for this part of the day, or it's in the kitchen for this part of the day. Having it permanently plugged in, that would be crazy. But I'm curious if that would maybe help. The second thing, hours of operation. So deciding certain times, I certainly already do this, but protecting more times, no phone first thing in the morning, right? Evening shutdown, I don't even touch my phone after my kids are in bed. Or mealtime, certainly, right? Phones are not anywhere around. I am convinced that our brain needs moments where nobody gets access to it. For me, I have quiet time, and after bedtime, that is just time for me to just be, to chill, no more input, So my phone is not anywhere around for those times. And then the third thing would just be choosing intentional input. Like, what really are you going to your phone for? And for me, I don't enjoy social media, the comparison, the constant new ideas, or me thinking I need to improve something that's actually working just fine. Information, news, certain things cause me more anxiety than they help, or hearing other people's opinions. Just really asking myself, like, is this really uplifting? Is this helpful? I might enjoy Pinterest for some inspiration or ideas, but I go with a very focused plan. Like, okay, I'm buying a new kitchen light. Let me browse some ideas, see what's speaking to me, right? Like, that's fun for me. That's a hobby. Okay, put the boundary, right? I'll spend this much time looking at these certain, pins essentially. And then there's an end point. At this certain time, I'm done, because it's so easy. It can go on forever, right? Doom scrolling, you can just scroll forever. So this will be a continuous experiment for me, determining really how to use my phone as the tool that it is. But I will say in general that the less I use my phone, the quieter my brain feels, for sure. I can be way more present with my kids. I can enjoy my daily life a lot more. I feel a lot less tendency to compare or feel behind. And in general, I do feel more connected. I know a lot of us moms can feel isolated at home all day. We want that connection with other people. I have just learned to reach out to the actual people in my real life, neighbors, my sister. There are people there that I reach out to more because I don't spend time on my phone. I have truly let go of the need to live my life while also kind of carrying everyone else's lives. We're kind of carrying that in our pocket. We're keeping track of people, we're carrying what they're doing, we're remembering this thing, and I don't feel the need to do that anymore. And it's actually very freeing, and it helps me kind of tap into myself. I don't really need to know what everyone is doing and saying. And honestly, you don't either. I'm pretty convinced that if we can just get honest about who we really are, find out why motherhood might be draining us right now, the quiz really helps you start to do that. Just to look inward instead of outward and learn how you can start replenishing what you're giving. We are giving to our families all day long. It makes sense why we're tired and maybe feeling drained. There's a huge power that comes knowing how God designed you to do things and not worrying so much about how he designed her to do things, because they're two totally different paths. Don't mother like me, don't mother like anyone else you see, just mother like you.